Welcome to The Lounge. Every month on The Lounge, we'll connect you with opportunities to get involved here on campus. We'll also introduce you to people working with students behind the scenes so you can get to know them a little more. I'm the creator and your host, Peyton Wade. Let's open The Lounge. On this episode, we're going to talk about mental health services and the resources available to you as students. With me today, I have Dr. Corey Steele, psychologist and mental health provider with the Student of Color focus, and Kortni Dubose, a PhD student studying educational psychology and the co-chair of the University Health Services Mental Health Services Advisory Board. So I want to thank you both for joining me today. We'll go ahead and get started. The first question I have, so we know that student mental health has been a topic of concern at universities years before the pandemic, and it's only heightened recently. So waiting for an appointment, sometimes you need to talk with someone before you can get in for your appointment. Corey, can you kind of walk through the process at UHS and what other resources students should know about beyond access appointments?
Absolutely. And yeah, you're correct with the information that you shared. Demand for mental health services, particularly on college campuses, has been on the rise each year for a number of years at this point. And, I think most students who enter our system for, mental health care are probably most interested in individual therapy. I think that that's the form of treatment that folks know best. And obviously so many benefits that could come from being in individual therapy. But there are also other important services that we offer that I think could help meet the needs of students as they attempt to address their mental health concerns. So, thinking about services that we offer, there are a couple of services that come to mind, like Let's Talk, which is a confidential sort of consultation drop-in service that UHS has established on campus. And so we have different Let's Talk sites across campus. It can be an opportunity for students to meet with the counselor and, do things like, plan for accessing like different and other supports on campus. Sometimes when folks drop in for Let's Talk, it's about getting more information on mental health services and then making a plan for scheduling with us from there. A lot of it is just kind of about getting connected. A lot of it is, about students just kind of getting more information that they could use to better take care of themselves moving forward. So, Let's Talk is a service that we offer. There's different Let's Talk services offered Monday through Friday, um, multiple sites. So that's a great service for students, I believe. And then, I often have conversations with students about, group counseling, and that can sound kind of intimidating, to students initially. Like I'm already doing a lot to try to address my mental health care, and I've gotten myself to a point to where I'm ready to do individual therapy. Thinking about doing a group can be sort of intimidating for folks, but another really valuable means of attending to mental health and just the degree of support that you can get from a group. Thinking about multiple mental health providers being involved in that experience, thinking about other student group members being involved in that experience and being able to get support from all of those folks potentially. There's great potential and powerful support potentially coming from group therapy.
Thank you, Dr. Steele. Courtney, one of the duties of Mental Health Services Student Advisory Board is to engage student advocacy to support campus mental health and wellness. What are the group's top priorities this year, and how can others get involved with you all?
Yeah, so the Mental Health Services Student Advisory Board is newly developed. We are starting our second year as a board on campus. And our main purpose is really to represent the voice of the student body and share valuable perspectives on how mental health services can be more relevant for our student community. And another important purpose that we have is really providing feedback about outreach efforts, and ways that students can get involved in this is really through continuing the dialogue about mental health, because there can still be a stigma around seeking services for mental health. And the more we embrace and talk about the importance of services in addressing mental health, the more we can actively reduce that stigma. Another way that students can get involved more formally would be through applying for a position on the board. It's open for all undergraduate and graduate students to apply, and applications are accepted in the fall semester.
Thanks, Courtney. Dr. Steele, one of the things that I personally valued when I was a student was being able to speak to someone who looked like me. Can you talk to the growing diversity that we have at mental health service providers here at UW-Madison?
Yeah, I've certainly seen diversity grow within the services offered by UHS in the time that I've been here. And so, for many of our students, it is important to be able to connect with the provider that maybe shares a similar identity or can relate to a specific experience. And so, just kind of seeing the growth and diversity in terms of the providers that we have on staff and the services that we offer. So when I first started working for UHS, I believe that I was one of two SOC, student of color providers for mental health services, who were specifically sort of designated for those positions. And in the almost 4 years that I've been with UHS, we've seen the number of providers designated in that particular position grow times three. I think about our LGBTQ plus focused providers and the growth that's happened there. Uh, that's also grown by about four times four over the last several years. So we're growing in that way too. We've also expanded the number of bilingual providers that we have on staff. So tremendous growth there. And then I just think about like services that we offer too. So going back to like group, thinking about um, some of our theme-based groups. So like our SOC support and process groups, our LGBTQ plus process and support groups, our transgender and non-conforming um, process empowerment groups, our international student support groups, so on and so forth. So, some of these groups have been established over the past couple of years. So just we're just seeing growth in terms of the different kinds of services that we offer, growth in terms of having more diversity within our staff. For mental health services is really encouraging, and at the same time, there's room for us to continue to grow. And so I really appreciate students. I think that this growth has come um, as a result of like student feedback. So that's been great to see.
That's great. And just to end on like, a lighter note, I know winters here in Wisconsin can be cold, and gloomy. It gets dark really early. So what do you all do to keep light in your lives? Especially when like work and school can be heavy as well. Courtney, if you want to go first.
Yeah, I definitely agree that winter can be a really hard time, especially in Wisconsin. And as a student, I think it's important to really celebrate little accomplishments that you can find, and then to try and find joy in everyday, daily things. I also really rely on the relationships that I have during times that are more difficult, and remind myself that even though things are busy, taking care of yourself and taking a step back can really help you show up as your best self and be there for others. So, yeah.
Thanks. And Dr. Steele, what about you?
I would actually echo a lot of what Courtney just mentioned. I just got through sliding on the ice as I picked up my daughter from school. But my work is important to me, and that's always a priority. But I also try to like place self care right alongside my work as a priority too. So, um, working hard, but then also giving myself an opportunity to take a step back, like Kortni mentioned, give myself opportunities for breaks, giving myself permission to engage in like my other interests and hobbies that don't have anything to do with my work, spending time with my family being in communication with my friends. Those things are really important for me to help me have like balance in my life, help me to manage all of the things that come with winter and work and stress and that sort of thing.
That's great. For our audience, I just want to make sure that you all check out UHS's extensive list of resources that they have. We'll also put it on the screen and it'll be in the description box as well. But above all, we just want you all to know that we're here for you and you never have to weather anything that you're going through alone. I want to thank you both for joining me today. And I want to thank you all for tuning in as well. Today, with it being March, it's been officially a year since we started the lounge. So I want to thank everyone who's been tuning in to all of the episodes. I'm your host, Peyton Wade, and it's time to close the lounge.